28th, 2020. I'm going to do roll call first. Seth Burdick,
Sept, Prudential here.
Charlie Eager, clerk.
Charlie Eager, clerk here.
Ray Perone. Ray? You're muted.
Ray Perone, treasurer here.
Fran Parks Prudential present. We do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
United States
America
of America.
and to the
For
republic
which
for which it stands,
is
one nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll start with the treasurer.
I was sorry that I got the report out so late. Been rather busy trying to catch up on year-end work. In sum, it's we're in a very good position after 2 months. The tax collections are strong, running ahead of budget at 29% of our target versus 17, where we should be at this point. We're having very strong current year and prior year collections in both real estate and property. So I think we're doing some catch up on the 2020 taxes. The water department is well ahead of revenue. They've been pumping about 20% more gallons this year due to the drought. So their income is up substantially. And the fire department ambulance revenue is also 8% ahead of last year. In terms of the other category, we're down this year. We don't have any Freedom Hall rentals. And also, as I said, I've been tied up with year end and the refinancing. So I'm behind on booking some interest for the month of August. And I think that accounts for the balance of that difference. Turning to the expenditure side, the Prudential finance departments are on budget, although we show that we're substantially above our target of at 40%. But that's due to the one-time insurance payments that we make in July that account for 30% of that budget. So you back it out and we're down at 10% of our annual goal, which is below budget actually. Fire department and water department are also below budget at about 13%. Fire department has had some repair bills, as well as the water department has had a large variance in chemical usage. Those are understandable and they're both accommodated for within the overall budget to put them below budget for the 2-month period. Freedom Hall is well below budget. I think that's COVID related. We probably have some backup work that we'll catch up with over time. And street lights, I think that's a question again, and we're missing some electrical bills to bring that up to where it should be. Although you can see that last year the same thing happened. We were slow getting started in that area. Library has been paid. Debt service really will be taken care of in December and January, and I'll explain that in a minute. Benefits are also appear over budget, but again, that's the one-time retirement payment that we make in July, which is actually 45% of budget. So in other terms, they're really operating at about 13% of budget. Transfers, we did the stabilization. We also did the OPED, which I haven't reflected in here because it's a little convoluted with the money coming from OPED, and we'll have that recorded. It's on budget, so nothing to be concerned about there. So overall, revenue running out of budget and expenditures running behind or on budget, taking into account the two one-time payments. Going back to debt service, we will pay the short-term, actually the sequence of events will be that we will get the proceeds of the new refinancing long-term bond, which will immediately retire the Santuit tank, but will defer the short-term debt payment until December when that comes due. One thing that I'm going to ask the Prudential Committee to do is to set up a meeting on Monday, October 5th. And the sole purpose of that meeting will be to approve the bond results. And that'll be the only item on the agenda that I would suggest. We should have the results by then. And as you heard me say when at the special district meeting, the final approval will fall to the Prudential Committee if the results are what we think we are, what we think them to be. And they should be based on the fact that we got a very good credit rating of AA+. That's just one notch down from the top rating. So I think we're in a good place to get favorable results on that bond. But indeed, it does take the Prudential Committee to finally approve that. And I'd suggest that be done on October 5th. Any questions on the results or my recommendation on the meeting?
Seth, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
So I have a question. The streetlights, have we started getting the solar credits? Have we started those checks? Have they started coming in?
I think we had one come in September. I know we had one come in September.
And how much did we get, Lisa?
150?
$150?
Lisa, is that correct?
Yes. Okay, great. And, oh, I know. How are we coming on the credit card service for the water department?
I'm not sure that they will be live as October 1. The last comment was that their software guy had passed the files to Unibank to start testing. I haven't got a feedback on how long that will take. We still are hoping to be live October 1st for the meter buildings.
Okay, great. Thank you. Freedom Hall, I just wanted to say that when they had the voting there, it all went very well and very smoothly. The town clerk's office didn't have any problem with the setup. We have some people that are starting to use the hall again for small meetings, and we have people inquiring about using the hall, either late winter or early spring, or reservations for next summer. So let's hope that we'll be able to use the hall for a goodly number of people by that time. We also, the next topic is the Katuitt School. There was a meeting of the Town Asset Management Committee last week or the week before, and they discussed the school and what's going on. Or I'm sorry, it was the water commissioners met with David Anthony and Jessica and the fire commissioners, and they discussed possibilities for future use of the school. The Mass Asset Management Committee is going to be meeting again tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Mr. Anthony said they're, at this point looking for possible tenants to rent the building, so it's not sitting idle. They have no time, have no timeline for when they're going to do something about it. Jessica mentioned that that the property could be transferred to us, because we're a municipality, could be transferred from one municipality to us with apparently no cost, but I'd have to check that. And Rick Pisano, suggested that, a committee be formed to, just watch what's going on with the town. I'm not too sure that we need to, form a committee at this point when the town's not really sure exactly what they're going to be doing with the building. Seth, do you have any comments about the last week's water commissioners?
My video came back on. There we go.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, I thought that was a good meeting. They certainly opened a lot of options, a lot more than I thought were on the table when they talked about it last time or when last I heard it discussed. But there goes my video again. But I mean, I think that it's important that, I hear about it pretty continuously from the people of the village that I deal with, how concerned they are about, what's going to happen with that piece of property, not necessarily the building so much as that land, its impact on the watershed. I think that, like Fran said, if the town is looking years out to what may happen, we don't have to do anything right away, but I think a committee of concerned people, along with the various representatives of the nonprofits and the civic association and the fire district offices would be a good idea, but I'm not sure exactly when we should get that going.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think we have to, at this point, we have to wait and see what the town's planning on doing, and, and maybe find out a little bit more information about having the property transferred to us, but they would have to, split it in half before that could happen. And, I
They
don't,
want to keep the park aspect of it, but it's 6 acres approximately that would be the school parcel.
yes, yeah. It's 13, the parcel's 13 acres in total.
Right. It's just, it represents, it'll be a lot of money one way or the other, whatever has to be done there, I suppose, whether we get it for free or not. So
Yeah, it'd be a
I
big,
suppose.
big financial commitment for the district.
But I definitely I think that a committee at some point, maybe sooner than later, or who knows, in the next while here, just to see what everybody thinks.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. Ray, any comments about the school property, or?
Well, when they say they could transfer it to us, I'd get concerned about any of the liabilities that get transferred with it. I'd like to have a careful look at that so that we're not taking on something, not just the repair, but some, environmental liabilities. Some of the concerns that the water department had about that well were troubling. If we were to take it over, what actions does that imply that we are obligated to take?
Right, I agree with you. Yeah, it's not going to be an easy problem to deal with.
There are huge oil tanks under the ground there, aren't there? That would for the fuel supply for the boiler, and that could need a lot of mitigation for what may have leaked. Or
I believe those tanks have probably been drained of oil, because I think pretty sure that they changed the building to gas. But those tanks are still on the ground, and you're right. There's they should be removed from the ground. I'm sure you can't get every single drop of oil out, and it's certainly not going to evaporate underground. So, I think that's something. As far as I recall from that last meeting, it sounded like to me that the septic system may be actually under the parcel that the town wants to keep, which is
good news.
Good news in a way. It's bad news if they don't want to, take the responsibility of getting it out of the ground. So that's another concern. So I think we'll just have to, I'll listen to the meeting tomorrow night, and encourage anybody else who wants to listen to the Asset Management Committee meeting at 6 o'clock tomorrow night to take a listen and see if they've made any headway with making any sort of decisions. But, I don't, in terms of repairing the building or dismantling it and tearing it down, I don't see any time in the near future that the town's going to have the money for that. because they just, have other priorities that are certainly going to be first. So the next is the deputy chief's contract. Seth, did you get a chance to look at that?
I did.
And
And
did you? Go ahead.
I didn't really have any, not any substantive feedback on it. It looks pretty straightforward to me.
Paul, do you have any comments about the deputy chief's contract?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. It was reviewed by district legal counsel. They had no problems with it. The fire commissioner reviewed it. They had no problem. The salary range puts them at the lower end of the deputy chiefs around the Cape. I can answer specific questions if you have any.
No, I don't. I thought it looked very fine also. So, Seth, I think what I'll do is make a motion to approve the contract, and then I will send it to Silvio for his signature, and then he can email it back to me, and I'll bring it in for you to sign. How does that sound?
That sounds fine.
Okay. So I make a motion that we accept the deputy chief's contract for the employment agreement between the Katuitt Fire District and the Deputy Fire Chief, agreement made the 12th day of August, 2020. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Seth, aye. Fran Parks, aye. Thank you. Is there any public comment?
I do. Mrs. Carol Zace, can you hear me?
Yes.
So just real quick, they didn't change the heating from oil to gas. They changed it from one type of oil to another type of oil, is what I remember. So, and that their tank is still there in the basement. It was some type of grade change to, but I also remember them, I think either the commissioner, water commissioner, chair suggested using the policy advisory committee that was already in place. And I think Commissioner Pisano was going to be looking into talking to you about that, to set up a committee just so that we were ahead of the game, or staying, getting our due diligence in place for possible options for the fire district. But other than that, that's all. Thank you.
I believe it was Jessica that suggested the policy advisory committee.
Okay, great.
And, I haven't had Silvio's going to be on that this year, and I haven't had a chance to speak to him. But I personally do not think that that's a appropriate use for that committee. They're, an advisory committee on district policy. So I think, there needs to be a set committee just devoted to the school, and that's my feeling about, when we talk to Silvio, we can see what he thinks about it. So if nothing else, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone have a good night.
Right, and the next meeting will be
Carrie,
October 5th.